Number 80, deck building game with a different twist of word game. This deck building game is Paperback. Favorite designer of all time, Tim Thowers. Myself, that's my favorite designer. May change. I know he has some great games that I own every single one of them, with the exception of Walkstar. And I'm currently kickstarting for his newest game. It's now boarding, and it gave an extension for Walkstar, and I jumped on it right away so I can get Walkstar and complete my Thowers collection. Paperback, really good. If you like deck builders, it's amazing. Downside to that is, again, the length of it, but you can find ways to shorten it. Combined with the word game. You hear deck builder, you hear word game, and you say all of a sudden, like, what? How does that work? Has a good implementation. I know they just did a Kickstarter for hardback, which changes and kind of helps some of that. I am going to be receiving that. Kind of excited to see how they've kind of transitioned. But this is a really good deck builder word game. That is number 80, Paperback. I don't know how you don't typically like word games, but
I don't excel at word games. I did like Paperback. It was a different challenge.
Yeah.
So, but the deck builder side of it made it usable.
And it's a game that you don't have other games that have that combined mechanic. You don't have deck builders combined with word games, which again kind of tugs at my strings of ranking it higher than maybe other people would. And
as soon as you see it, it's like, well, duh.
Exactly.
Why didn't somebody do this like 2 years ago?
Yep. So that's number 80, Paperback.
Yeah.
Number 79. You mentioned this game earlier. Oh no, you didn't. Never mind. But that game, I think, is coming.
Okay.
This is a simple beyond simple deduction game. Well, bluffing game, I guess you could say. / deduction, I guess. Think Princess Bride. Now, there's 2 games that are using this mechanic. Which one do you think I put in my top 100?
The center one, not the one with the goblets.
Okay. So there's Raise Your Goblets, or I think it's Raise Your Goblets, which deal with goblets and putting Mancala beads in those goblets.
Which is a really cool game.
Yes, it is. And I think it's in my top 150, I think.
If not, probably 200.
Yes. This game, I think, does it a little bit better, again, for the simplicity and for the limit. It kind of limits as far as what's out there. I like the different types of, I guess, drinks that you can include in the game, the adaptability, replayability with which ones you're going to include in the deck. This game is Poisoner's Pour.
Yeah.
You have a tablet, or you have a tableau or a card in the middle, and there's 4 different places you can place a card that you know what it is, no one else does. And each spot is worth 3 coins, 2 coins, 1 coins, or no coins. And then the next player has to pick one of those cards that have all been laid out. They can either get poisoned by that and lose health, or they can get gold by that and gain health. They can get saved and just drink regular wine or drink. And basically you're going for the most coin or being the last one alive at the end of the game. Very short game. You can play probably 5 games in a period of 15 minutes.
I don't know if it's that fast. But
it can be, if everyone's played before.
If everyone dies fast.
If everyone, which happens more often than not.
Yeah.
It's going to depend on the drinks you include, one.
I would say
and the aggressiveness, too.
A normal game is probably 10 minutes. 5 to 10 minutes.
Between 5 and 10. But I've played 5 games in a period of 15 minutes, just because people were super aggressive and it was dealing with a lot of poison in the cups. I think you only have 5. If there's 5 players, there's 5 types, or there's 6 types, and you play 5 of them, and then the 6th one's discarded. But yeah, it's a very, very nice little simple, very, very simple bluffing game. That is number 79, Poisoner's Pour. Number 78. 2-player game, adaptation of a very, very, very popular drafting game, which I had mentioned earlier. Really like this adaptation, and I will play this any day way more than the multiple player game, and that is Seven Wonders Duel. Number 78, Seven Wonders Duel. Really like their how they adapted it to 2 players. I know if you play Seven Wonders 2 player, regular Seven Wonders 2 players, I think they do have a variant for that, but it's.
I wouldn't know.
I would never play it. I do believe they do have a variant in one of the rulebooks.
Yeah, but it's you make this like insane way to do it.
Yeah,
it's like
never play that. Seven Wonders Duel, by all means, play that any day. I play a lot of 2-player games, just me and him. Play a lot of 2-player games, just ourselves. That is a great game. I played it quite a bit with you, a few times with other people, Craig, I know, and Josh another time. That's a game you own that I don't, but I would consider owning it tandem just for playing it with like my brother.
I'm just wondering why it ended up in the 70s.
For me?
Yeah.
I mean, you'll see.
I know, but it's
see.
just, it feels like if it's such a great game, why is it so low?
1, theming. 2, how good I am at it. 3, there's other games in here that are more. I told you, drafting isn't typically a game I excel at, or that I tend to like unless it's cooperative.
Fair.
So that's kind of one of those things.
Right.
I don't mind getting beat, but that's another high learning curve. If you don't play it often and you play with someone that excels at or that plays a lot of drafting games and knows Seven Wonders, like yourself, for example, you play Seven Wonders and you've played it hundreds of times. I'd say,
with between online and real,
it can be difficult and I've gotten close. I know one time
no.
I almost had a military win.
Yeah, and I had to just stave it off. Yeah, it's tight sometimes.
But yeah, it's a good game. I'm not putting anything at fell low because again, it's not really typically mechanics I enjoy, and normally you like to play with a group, so 2 players isn't always necessary, even though a lot of these are, or some of these are. That's number 78, Seven Wonders Duel. Number 77, game that I'm not sure that you played. You may have played it outside of myself. Deals with one of my favorite types of themes. That is superheroes. Heroes Wanted is the game. This is a skirmish type game, mission type game. Everyone creates their own superhero, which I love. How you get to put the bottom and the top card. You get a bunch of top cards that are different types of superheroes, and you get a bunch of bottom cards that are types of superheroes. You get 2 random ones. You smash those together. It could be a shark on the bottom, kind of like Smash It. It could be a shark on the bottom and a scientist on the top, and you're the mad shark scientist. And then you basically go throughout the board collecting not accomplishments, but like clues or whatever, depending on the skirmish that you're doing or scenario you're doing, staving off the other ones. I really like, again, the comic theme, and I like the creating your own comic person, and just the kind of stuff that goes through my head. Oh, how would that person really work if they were in a comic? And skirmish part, that kind of thing really, really hits a tug for me. That's number 77, Heroes Wanted. Number 76, cooperative game, dice. Loopy dice. I mean, dice you throw under your leg, dice you throw under your arm, dice you bounce on the table. I really like this game. I like the quirkiness of it. That is Dungeon Fighter, number 76, Dungeon Fighter. Even to the extent that you, I think, one year for my birthday, got me an expansion to it. And I have yet to get the other expansions because I've priorities, buy new games, I guess. But that is one that I will eventually round out that collection. It'll probably be by the end of the year, I'm thinking. There's only, I think, 3 other expansions I have to get, and they are fairly affordable. But I really like the game. I haven't played it as much as I'd like, just, again, for the sake of people. I would like to play it more, and I know I've kind of been itching to play it more. I know I've mentioned it to you a few times. But it is difficult as far as mobility-wise, that kind of thing. It can be a difficult type of game to play, but I really enjoy it every time I've played it. I've loved it. We've won once out of like 3 times that we've played together, I think.
I've only played once.
Did you won that one,
I
right?
did.
Yes.
So I'm not exactly eager to get it back to the table.
And not necessarily
I am undefeated.
Me and him playing together have won once out of the one time. But the other times I've played, I've got demolished each and every time.
So I'm your good luck charm.
Yeah, which means we should have no problems playing it again together, right? The biggest thing for that for me is the quirkiness of it. I really like the change in how you have to get the dice onto the target and do damage to enemies. It is a fairly hard game.
Yeah. I like the elbow shot.
Yes, elbow shot, or there's flick it, there's bounce it, there's the fire adds it, bounce it through the ring. Really good game. That is number 76, Dungeon Fighter. Number 75. This is strictly on my first experience playing this game, and I did decent. I didn't win the game. Game that you own, that they just recently posted a second printing of it, dealing with dice. Placement, of all things. Dealing with outer space.
Oh, Alien Frontiers?
Alien Frontiers.
Yeah, they're on like their 5th printing.
Yeah, number 75, Alien Frontiers.
Okay.
The mechanics in this game are again, dice placement, kind of resource management in a way.
Yep.
I think the variability in the ways that you can win is why I like it so much. It's kind of got a sandbox type winning style. Okay, how do I want to win by placement on the planets? Do I want to win by like developing so many or getting so many additions to my spaceship? I mean, there's different ways you can attack it. Ultimately, it all comes down to one or two ways of winning.
Yeah.
But how you go about that is very variable.
Because the end game has to be triggered by getting all your stuff on the planet.
Correct.
So if you don't do that, even if you're in the lead, nobody else is going to trigger it for you, and then they'll find their ways to catch up. So I was going to ask you about that, making a list of games to ask you about. So.
Oh, really?
So, so you're taking some games off the list. I like this.
So that's 75. Very good game. Alien Frontiers. Does his opinion really matter? The Shipyard creator?
Yes.
Number 74 is a 2v2 or 1v1 two-player game. Think chess with mirrors and lasers. KHET 2.0 is my game. And I would combine this with Eye of Horus. I think that is a necessary expansion to just open up. What's that? The splitter. Yeah, the Eye of Horus beam splitter. It seems very simple, and it seems like something a toy that you would play as a kid. And I was never, funny thing is I was never really a chess fan. I was more of a checkers fan, not necessarily a chess fan growing up. Played it quite a bit with like my grandparents growing up, even though I didn't necessarily like it. I like the strategy behind chess, the simple strategy that can multiply into huge strategy for players that play it all the time.
No.
Eye of Horus, or KHET 2.0 / KHET Eye of Horus expansion is somewhat like that. Really, it's how can I outmaneuver my opponent and force them to make the wrong decision in what pieces they move on their turn. They only get one piece to move. They can either move a piece or rotate a piece.
Yeah.
And then you fire the laser. Regardless if it hits your piece or the other player's piece, that piece is removed as long as it hits a plastic part of the...
Yeah, so back or sides.
Yeah,
so
correct.
Piece 7 years, we're going to have to do a video on that.
Yeah, that'd be a good one. So that's a really good two-player game. I really enjoy it just for the again, I'm saying simplicity a lot, but it is hidden simplicity.
It's deceivingly complicated.
Yeah.
It's very simple to explain.
Yeah.
Like, here's the board. You get to move a piece or turn a piece.
Then you fire the laser, see what happens.
But how you go about killing your opponent's
king
is super strategic, and it's chess.
Yep.
It is a game of chess. You know, you can explain the rules of chess to somebody and say, okay, here's how all the pieces move. Go kill your opponent's king.
Yep. And that's another thing, too, in comparison to chess, is chess has, what is it, like 6 or 7, I think it's 7 different types of moves. The L, the 1 or 2 forward if you're a pawn. 6 moves. This, I think, has 2.
Yeah.
You really just go adjacent or you rotate. I think there's one thing that you can... Oh, there's basically move or there's swap. If you're the scarab, you can swap your scarab with someone else's piece. And that's pretty much it. There's the defense where it only gets taken out if it's hit from the sides. I think sides or backs. If it's hit in the front, it doesn't get taken out. So that's where it changes as far as how it reacts to getting hit by a laser. But it's, again, chess in the sense of how you think about maneuvering for your opponent. Great game, number 74. Okay. 74, KHET 2.0. Maybe that's where I was getting mixed up.
Okay.
Number 73, co-op with the Dungeon Master, Dexterity. Catacombs falls to number 73. It would be higher. I guarantee it would be higher if we played it a lot more. I played this...
Or any more.
Yes. I played this once.
Yeah.
And it falls into my top 100 for the Dexterity side, for the co-op side with the Overlord, for the... it's kind of like Flick 'em Up, per se. And you'll see that Flick 'em Up is on this list. It's higher because I played it more.
Sure.
But Catacombs has the difference of how you fire things, which Flick 'em Up is starting to do, like with arrows or fire or axes or whatever.
Yep.
This one's really good just for the story of things. I really like working together against someone. I like the Overlord. I don't know that I would like playing Overlord, which is why when I played it, you were the Overlord.
Yep.
But had an amazing time playing it, and I want to play it again. I'm hoping you still own it.
Yeah.
So take note.
It's there somewhere.
Yes. Take note. That is number 73, Catacombs. Number 72, deduction game that fell in a different placing than I thought it would. Deals with pictures, investigating, trying to figure out who is the culprit.
Wait, deception?
Deception.
So that low?
Murder.
You are a madman.
Hong Kong.
You are a madman.
I agree with you on that.
How did that?
I agree with that.
Is it because we haven't played it?
Possibly.
Is it like you got the? Did you get the expansion?
I did back the expansion. It hasn't
come
yet.
Okay, but yeah, so it's like we were playing it, and we just stopped because we don't have the group of people to play it.
Yeah, which is probably
that's probably why it fell down.
But you're gonna have a cow when I say my next. Number 72 is Deception, Murder in Hong Kong. Number 71, Mysterium. I have always said that I like Deception more than Mysterium.
Yeah.
I trust a lot of this list, but Mysterium, number 71, number 72, Deception. That is kind of a flop. I'm thinking the reason why Mysterium is higher is because of the artwork and because of the challenge. That it's a different type of challenge. They're two separate games. People compare them all the time. Mysterium I've played less, so that could be another reason, kind of recency effect,
I think it's
outplayed or whatever.
Mysterium can be played with a smaller group. I think that helps it. That's the only thing I can think of, whereas Deception thrives when you have like 8.
Yeah.
8 to 10 people.
And we did play it heavy a lot.
Yeah, well it was like the game we were
for a
playing.
while. And I still want to play it.
We
just don't really have the group for it right now. Mysterium we do. Somewhat. So that one...
Yet no one owns it.
Exactly. No one in our main gaming group owns it.
That's funny.
I don't own it because I own Deception. And I feel like I get the same type of feeling when I play it. However, it may be one to pick up just because of... Mysterium may be one to pick up just for the sake of our group that we currently have. Yeah. So 72, Deception, Murder in Hong Kong. 71, Mysterium. Kind of combo. It was weird how they fell right next to each other.
Yeah.
Number 70. We just talked about this game in comparison to Catacombs. That is Flick 'em Up. Number 70 is Flick 'em Up. Another dexterity game. You flick your disc at the other player's cowboy, and you try and knock them down to take off points. I really like this one in comparison to Catacombs, just for the sake of the different buildings that you get to put out. I really like how you get to set out, basically they're cardboard designs that look like the saloon or the jail or whatever, and they stand up because you have tokens on the bottom of them. You can flick your cowboy into those buildings, but it really sets up. They even give you little cardboard barrel or little cardboard. Actually, they're wooden cactuses and barrels and that kind of thing. It really immerses you in the theme. Yeah. There's a lot of scenarios that you get to play that are different setups or things you're doing. I have all the expansions for it. I'm interested in seeing how Flick 'em Up Dead of Winter plays, but I don't think I need to buy it just because I think that's another rabbit hole to go down where they're going to start releasing expansions, and I don't know that I need that. Yeah. More than willing to play it if someone owns it, but I'm satisfied with just a regular Flick 'em Up.
Well, and if it's the same game,
exactly,
essentially, with maybe a minor rule tweak or something.
I think it's dropping that you drop the only change is you drop the zombies out of down a dice tower per se.
Okay.
And if it hits you, then it bites you. Yeah. But that's really it.
Is that enough of
it's
change?
Not really. I mean, I like the zombie theme, but again, it's not enough to go out and buy essentially the same game when I have everything I need with the regular Flick 'em Up. Mm-hmm. Great game, great dexterity game. I know you've played it a few times with me. Played it with my brother, played it with a few other players. You seem to enjoy it.
I had fun. Yeah.
But again, this is a really good dexterity game, number 70, Flick 'em Up. You want to take a wild guess on what my 69 is? You're going to be so mad.
Star Trek Descendants.
Nope. This is Mr. Dave Montgomery's favorite game of all time.
Did you put Cosmic Encounter down here?
Cosmic Encounter number 69.
Hey, it made your list.
It did make my list, yeah.
I'm okay with that.
Okay.
It has been a while since we played it.
Yes, it has been a while since we played it. I strictly just love this game for the fact of variable player powers.
You will never play the same game twice.
Never. Now, that's also a fault of it, in my eyes.
Because you'll never play the same game twice.
Not necessarily that you'll never play the same game twice, but there's so much going on, and I worry that it doesn't necessarily... Like, for example, you have... How many races is there in this game now?
Gosh. Easily over 130.
Easily over 130. When you play the best way to play this game is with 2 powers, I think. I think personally, as far as with experienced players, I wouldn't do that with new players.
Oh, no.
But the best way to play this game, I think, is with two powers. And I worry that with that amount of different types of powers, balance is the main word.
Oh,
and you as an experienced...
There's no such thing as balance in Cosmic. It's all about how do the players at the table deal with the balance.
Correct. And that's why I will always play it with you, because you know what races to not combine that don't...
Well, there's a few that are just like almost auto wins. Yeah.
Whereas myself, the depth of thinking or level of thinking, I'm not really going to pay attention to that if I was playing it with a new group. But it is amazingly simple for everything that's in it when it comes down to strategy. Really, the only change in strategy is based on your alien powers. Everything else is...
Well, and your hand of cards.
And your hand of cards, yeah. I mean, you're going to adapt it based on that. But it's very similar type of game than something that's coming up next. And there's a reason for that. We'll actually talk about it when we get to number 68. But that's 69, Cosmic Encounters. Love the game. Haven't played it as much as you would like, as much as I would like. Again, it takes a larger group too, which is
4 at least.
Yeah,
I like it.
Which we don't always have.
No.
That's number 69, Cosmic Encounters. Number 68, very similar game, and there's a reason why it's very similar. Nothing Personal is my number 68.
Tom Vassell just cried.
Did he? You think?
You just took like 2 of his...
Probably. And they're right next to each other, and that's not by the thought of me, that's by that ranking. But it's funny that they fall together. Tom Bassel's favorite game of all time, Cosmic Encounter. David's favorite game of all time, Cosmic Encounter. David's favorite game of all time, Cosmic Encounter. There's a reason I say that, but we'll leave that for another day. And Nothing Personal, game created by Tom Bassel. The negotiation is where the comparison falls. Very, very comparable. I like actually the mob theme more than the alien theme. Completely
different.
Yes.
Something you don't see a lot of.
Yes, and that kind of pulls it in for me. I like the ring. You put a ring on when you're the boss. I like the
it doesn't fit my
kind of the management of who's available, who you send to jail, who you send to sleep with fishes. Really the backstabbing that happens out of the game. It really ties in very well as far as with the theme, for sure. So that's a number 68. Very good negotiation type game. It is the way it is because I think Tom had huge influences by Cosmic, but it does feel different too. That's number 68. Nothing Personal.
No.
Number 67. You have not played this. I've played it a few times with my brother since I've gotten it. There's been a few times I brought it to the table before I played it with my brother and I had time to kind of read through the rules. Viva Java, the coffee game, the dice game. Longest game name ever.
Don't throw that out there. Somebody will make a long one.
That's true. But it is heavily, I don't know why they do it. Viva Java, the coffee game, the dice game.
Well, because they had just Viva Java, the
coffee game, which was cards, and then now they did the dice game. I will play this game anytime more than I would with the card game or the original Viva Java. For simplicity's sake, it is very comparable to Quicks when it comes to rolling the dice and filling up what ingredients you're getting for your coffee, trying to get straights as far as in your rules, that kind of thing. You can play this with pretty much anyone as long as you know how to explain it, which explaining it, really you just have to make sure you explain the order of things in the right way, and that's pretty much it. It is very simple, more simple than it seems when you look at the rule book. That is number 67, Viva Java, the coffee game, the dice game. Number 66. This is second edition. I never played the first edition. It deals with Mars. Deals with going to Mars and dropping people off at certain areas in Mars. Not worker placement. Area control. That is Mission Red Planet second edition. I say second edition because, again, I haven't played the first. I know it doesn't change much.
I think there's some changes.
There's changes in the fact of, as opposed to going 1 to 10 in order of priority on what card you play, basically, you have a hand. Everyone has an identical hand of 1 to 10, and each of those cards, 1 is a different action, 2 is a different action, 3 is a different action. Some of them backstab the other players. Some of them blow up player ships. Some of them allow you to go on multiple ships. Some of them allow you to go straight to Mars. It really depends. In the first edition, it counted 1 was the first card that everyone plays 1 card, and then you count 1. Whoever played 1 flips their card. And if 2 players played 1, then it goes in turn order. Turn priority or turn order. Then you go 2. Whoever played 2 does it. If they haven't, you go to 3. You go all the way to 10 until everyone's played their card and done their action based on that card. There is 1 card in that deck that gets all your cards back that you have to play that doesn't do anything aside from getting all your cards back. But the thematics of going from 10 to 1 sounds a lot better when you're playing it. They're counting down to blast off. 10, 9, 8, 7. Then you blast off. I like that change. That was one of the changes. Sure. And I think one of the other changes was it added Lobos. It's Lobos, isn't it? Lobos. The moon. The moon off of Mars, it added that, which is a nice little twist and a nice addition to it. And from a lot of people that have talked about it, that was one of their 2 top, those both are 2 of their top enjoyments or reasons why they like the newer one more. Again, they're pretty much the same game with a few new additions, but I really like that game and the counting, trying to guess what your other players are going to use, trying to figure out how you're going to get your cards back, when's the proper time to get all your cards back, how many cards you should play before you do that. Very good area control type, hand management type game. That is number 66, Mission Red Planet. Number 65, we played the smack out of this game. Very, 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 very simple. Deals with dice in an arena. Strike. Strike, throw dice in an arena. If your numbers match, I think you take them back, correct?
You keep them.
Any matches, you get the dice back. Any non-matches, so if you throw the dice in and it doesn't match, then you don't get any dice back. Everyone starts with so many dice, so I forget how many for each player. Let's just say everyone has 5 dice. There's one in the middle with the number on it. You throw your dice in. Now you only have 4.
You throw 1 die.
You throw 1 die in. Now you only have 4. If those don't match, you can continue to throw another die in. To try and get a match. It's upping your odds because now you have 2 non-matches to match with. You can strike the dice, throw your dice to turn the faces, or you can choose, if you didn't get your first throw, pass it to the next player. The ultimate goal is to be the last person with dice. Yep. So that one we've had a lot of fun with. Very simple. I played this with my kids at work, and they've enjoyed it. They've loved it. They've grasped it from the very get-go. Tricky, nice little thing is when you remove everything because you've made matches and the next person has to roll all their dice into the arena. That's really fun, especially when you're losing and you have 2 dice left and you match those 2 dice and then the next player rolls and they get no dice back except for 1. And now you're up 2-1 with dice. That's a great little twist and I love that. It sucks to be the person getting it done to. However, it gives a lot of those moments.
Yeah, it's the momentum swing.
Correct.
Yeah.
So again, another nice little simple game. That's number 65, Strike.
Again, I'm surprised it's that low, but
you'll see. Number 64. This is a area, not necessarily area, perception type game that you draw on clear plastic sheets. Very arcade-y per se. There are actually 2 types of versions of this. One is Doodle Quest. The one that I really enjoy is Looney Quest. Yeah. Looney Quest, 1, you have, think video game. You have so many sheets that you go through that are all different parts of that world. I think there's 4 in each world with a boss as the 5th one. It could be 5 with the boss being the 6th one or 6 with the boss being the 7th. I can't remember. I think it's actually 8. 7 of them are the world. The 8th is the boss. Basically, you're trying to look at the map of the world and you have a transparency. Everyone has a transparency. At the start of go, you trace that transparency or you draw on that transparency, trying to get yourself through the maze that's the map is displaying. And collect points that are on that maze. You put the transparency over after everyone's done with the time period expiring and see if you made it through the maze without hitting walls or made it through the maze without hitting bombs or enemies or whatever it may be. And collecting points for stuff that you were able to connect to, so coins or points or whatever. And then at the boss, there's a different little mechanic there. You get opportunities to screw up your opponents, throw bananas on their screen, which allow them to not trace through that banana, have them do it left-handed as opposed to right-handed, have them balance a token on the top of their pen while they trace. A lot of crazy little twists there as far as take that element. Really like the genuine type game that it is. Doodle Quest is a lot simpler. Doodle Quest, I like the theme of it a lot more. That's why I picked it, as well as the take that element. Really good game. I don't know if you like it as much as I do.
I'm not all that artistic. I don't have the spatial aspect of it isn't that big of a deal, but it is a very challenging game.
Yeah. But it's a goodie. That's
it is a good one.
number 64, Looney Quest. Number 63. I will not say its original name. I'll say its adapted name due to copyright violations. That is Terror in Meeple City. Think an old arcade game where you had Godzilla or you had King Kong going through the city. This is a dexterity game where you're trying to collect meeples that are on stacked platforms. You do that by making those platforms fall over and the meeples fall onto the map, and having, based on your monster per se, be able to take so many on each of their turns based on where they're located in the map.
And how many teeth they have left.
How many teeth they have left, which you lose teeth if you break your teeth on someone else, or another monster breaks your teeth, or a building breaks your teeth, whatever it may be. There's nice little twists in there, like having to trying to blow over the building with your mouth. And literally, no joke, he did what you're supposed to do when you do that.
I mean, you have a character piece.
Yes.
Not your face.
Yes. Yeah, you do it on the character piece. And you're trying to collect as much meeples as possible. There's hidden, as far as once you collect them, you put them behind your screen, so there's a little bit of memory there of what people are getting and who's getting majority of red, who's getting majority of brown, because that counts towards points at the end. But I really love this game, and I haven't played it
nearly enough.
That
was one of the first games we played together.
It was. I don't know that I can quote the first game that we played together, but it was one of the first. You were really itching to play it. You had seen it on Game Night, I think, one of the Game Night live plays.
Yep.
And I was like, dude, I have that. I have the original before they changed the name. It's a great game that I've had good experiences with good people with, as well as I enjoyed that game growing up, and I enjoy the dexterity element of it.
Yeah.
That is number 63, Terror in Meeple City. Number 62, another party game, which I give love to this just because I love, A, something you've heard a lot from me, simplicity. B, anyone can play this. My niece, that's 5 years old, was able to play this, and I took pictures of her playing this for a competition that the developers were holding. Deals with something you don't deal with much in games. Everyone growing up in elementary school did the tactile, reach your hand in the box and feel what it is. Number 62, the sock game. Very simple game. I admire the developers for just like taking something apparently that they played growing up and developing it into a game.
Yeah. 2
identical socks with identical stuff inside them. So each sock may have a meeple. Each sock may have a hotel, a Monopoly hotel. Each sock may have a button. Toy car. There's all kinds of things. They have about 20 items in each sock, and they're all, again, identical. You spin the spinner, tells you what you're going for. I like playing this in the team sense of you find your piece, pass it to the next person, they find their piece, pass it to the next person, and it's a race to be the first team to get all of the items.
Yeah.
Rules are very simple. 3 rules. Put your hand in the sock. Find what you're trying to find. You cannot peek. You cannot roll down the sock. You cannot take multiple items out of the sock. You can only take one at a time out. And you don't start before the whistle goes or before the game master says go or the first player says go. Then you race with the person against from you. Who's going to get the button first in their sock? Oh, I found the button first, and I pass it to him. He's still looking for the button. Dave's now looking for a toy car. Dave finds a toy car. He passes it to the next person. They're now looking for a golf tee. Oh, that person found the button, so now they pass it to their partner, who's now looking for the toy car. They finish it. Now they pass it to the next person. Now both of our players' teams are looking for the golf tee. That race, that tension, you're reaching in there and you're like, now someone's caught up with you, you're ahead, now everyone's yelling at you like, man, hurry up, dude, we almost got it.
Right.
I had someone that, I played this with my family, and they literally, we were still on the first person. I was the third person. I think it was 4 versus 4. We were still on the first person when it got to the other team's fourth person. They held on to what they were supposed to get in their hand. I think it was a penny. And they held on to that to be cocky and to like taunt us. And he just looked at us laughing and let the first person get it, let the second person get it, let the third person get it. It got to me, who was the fourth person. I reached my hand in, immediately felt what it was. As he was trying to reach his hand out of the sock, I pulled out the penny before he did. Because I ultimately, first thing I felt when I got in there was a penny, and I reached it out quick. That was an amazing moment, because then the person that was laughing at us all turned around and we were like, why? His whole team yells at him. And they're like, why did you do that? Amazing game, amazing experiences playing this game. I'm surprised, actually, personally, I'm surprised it's so low on the list. I think, again, it's probably personal with like me trying to put actual games per se on the list. But that's number 62, an amazing game. I recommend trying to figuring out if you can find it. That's number 62, the sock game.
And if you can't find it, make it.
Yeah, exactly. That's a great thing about it. If you can't find it, make it. I know I added stuff to it.
Yeah.
So again, number 62, the sock game. Number 61, another very, very, very unique game that not many people have heard of, and I highly recommend you trying to find this as well. This is something we're probably going to try and do a live stream of one day when we get access to cameras and lighting for it, whether that be night vision or whatever. I know most cameras do. I would love to do this. It's probably coming up to around the time of year, we're in October, that we would play this game. That is This House is Haunted. Great game just for the sake of its uniqueness.
Yeah.
How unique it is, how creepy it could be, but in a fun way, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
You put stacks of numbers of cards, so 20 cards in one room, 20 cards in another room, 20 cards in another room. You put those in different rooms throughout the house, and your goal is to have enough positive cards as opposed to negative cards at the end of the 13 rounds. You play 13 rounds. Each time there's a leader. The leader sends people out to different rooms to go see those cards. You draw the top card from the deck in the room that you were sent to. It may tell you that you're cursed now, which means for the rest of the game you now have to do something. It could be hop on one foot. It could be talk in Pig Latin. It could be never say the word I. It could be respond to everyone in the third person. There's different curses, and if you continue to do that curse for the rest of the game, you get points towards your team.
Yeah.
There is a hidden traitor mechanic of if you get so many negative cards in your hand, then you are now converted to the other team. Basically, everyone gets their cards. They come back to the center. They choose if they're going to put those cards in the middle of the center or however many cards they're going to put in the middle of the center secretively, and then those cards are revealed. Any positive cards stay in the middle, any negative cards stay in the middle, and you're trying to get, at the end, after the positives add to the negatives and the negatives subtract from the positive, you're trying to get a number that is equal to, I believe, or higher than the number of players that are playing.
Sounds right.
About right. But those negatives could be -1, -3, -5, +1, +2, +3, +7. If you ever hold on to more negative cards that equal to 5 or higher, you are now on the other team.
Yeah.
But you don't want to put those cards in the middle because you don't want to hurt the good guys. You don't want to hurt your total in the middle. So you got to kind of push your luck or which cards do I get rid of so you don't convert to the other team and maybe win, maybe lose, depending on it. There's also haunting cards. If you pull that card, you're stuck in that room and you have to get other people to do an action to release you from the room. If they don't, they get stuck. That's a great mechanic. But we've had some great times during Halloween playing this game, I think. The one negative of it is if you don't have people that are invested in the game, it can fall apart really quickly.
Yeah.
As far as people just not doing what they're supposed to, people just socializing, and which isn't a problem, but not really having the buy-in there. Every time we've had it, for the most part, we've had a lot of people that were tied in. There's been a few times that it's fallen apart, but for the most part, the experience, if you play this and you have people that are into it, you're going to have an amazing time. That is number 61, This House is Haunted.